Hello again, everybody, and we're here at the Coakley Middle School with the brand new principal, Dr. Margot Fraczek. Got it right?
Yes.
Okay.
Absolutely.
And Dr. Fraczek, welcome to Norwood.
Thank you.
Welcome to MPA.
Thank you.
In order to get to know some of our viewers out there, why don't you tell us a little bit about yourself?
Sure. So before coming to Norwood, I was very far away in Dedham. I was the vice principal of Dedham Middle School for about 6 years. Became the acting principal in April of 2016 and was the acting principal until the end of last year when I left Dedham to come over here to Norwood. So I've been down in this neck of the woods for a while. Before doing that, I taught in Cambridge for about 7 or 8 years. I was a math teacher. Before that, I was a substitute teacher. I did a 1-year stint as a long-term sub for music. And I've gone to, I like to joke, I've gone to most of the colleges in the greater Boston area. I start with an undergrad from Emerson, so I have a theater education background, master's from Lesley, and then I did my PhD in Boston College. Currently I live in Burlington with my husband and my 2 children, 5 and 8. And originally I come from the great state of Washington, a little bit outside of Seattle in Auburn, Washington. So that is me in a nutshell.
Awesome. Wow, that was great. Now, you got the job, so we're not in the interview anymore. Why Norwood? What interests you about coming here? I really just like the town and the setting. It's one of the most diverse cities that I've ever worked in, where we have, while we still have a substantial Caucasian population, we have a large demographic from Brazil, we have African American students, we have Hispanic students, second language learners, which is really a fabulous place to work. Heard a lot of great things about the teachers here and about the school system here. Many of my teachers in Dedham actually live in Norwood, so I'll have a lot of my former employees' kids coming up. Which is always kind of a fun thing as well. So just heard a lot of great things. It's a really great town, really a lot happening here, new superintendent, a couple other new administrators, so I feel like Norwood's sort of on the brink of some pretty big things, and I'm really excited to be a part of that. Yeah, it really is. It's a transformation year. I think you're one of 5 new principals that we have in the system.
That sounds about right. There's a lot of us.
So have you formed a kind of a club? No,
not so much. You know, Jonathan Board and I, certainly spend some time together because us secondary people stick together a little bit. But no, I've really had a great time getting to know Donna, Diane, Wes. I know has been here for a few years. And then certainly I knew Nancy Coppola because she spent some time in Dedham as well. And then Breon down at the Willett, and there's a few others there too. But we meet all the time, so really getting to know and work with the other administrators has been fantastic. They've been a great group. Every question that I ask get answered by several people, which is fantastic. So it's really nice. That.
All right, so you've been here 90 days or so?
Sure. Yeah, July 1st, so yeah.
All right, a little bit more than that.
Yeah.
And what are your impressions thus far?
Incredible community. Get that from the get-go. I had parent coffees over the summer. One that I had, so it's a summer evening in August, and I want to say I had 50 or more parents come out just to meet me and chat about school and ask questions. Incredible staff here. We have great conversations about teaching and learning on a daily basis. I was joking with you that I'm in sort of a substitute crisis today, but it's of my own making because I had a bunch of different teachers that wanted to go to different conferences and learn more things. And incredible kids. We have wonderful, wonderful kids here. That I've noticed from even over the summer. So they don't know me from a hole in the wall, and if you've ever met middle school kids, any meeting with a middle school kid that you don't know can go a lot of different ways. The students here were polite, they were friendly. I met a high school student when I was at Target, and she chatted me up, not knowing who I was not dressed like I was from Norwood. She chatted me up anyways, just talking to me, and that's how she was with every customer in the line. And so that is my impression of Norwood as a community filled with very friendly people that are interested and engaged with education, really want what's best for their kids all the time. So really had an amazing experience, which is great. So.
And you're doing some different things. So we talked about this a little bit before. You're using social media heavily.
And, would love to have you talk a little bit about why you're doing that
Sure.
and what you're hoping to accomplish through that.
Absolutely. So I'm huge with Twitter. The teachers are getting used to that because they'll be like, "Can I tweet that out? Can I take a picture? Can I tweet you out?" And so they're getting used to it. The kids are getting used to it. It's a great way to do what we call flattening the walls of a school. Middle school children, you may not have heard this, don't communicate a ton with their parents. So one of the things that we try and do is let parents know what's happening in the school and let the community know what's happening in the school. And so parents can follow me on Twitter. I'm at @mfraczek, pretty simple. And we just tweet out about what's happening in the school, what's happening on the day, something. I try to do sort of visual things. I tend to tend a lot of pictures, what's happening in the school. I was down in my STEM classes the other day, which is great for pictures because it's all hands-on. They're building maglev cars. I don't know what really that means, except for it's cars that don't need wheels. And I'm super fascinated by that. So, and they were building boats that could hold amounts of weight. And I was like, what, they can hold like 10, 15 marbles? So the biggest boat held over 350 marbles above water. They were made of like tin foil and wood and some other pieces that the kids all put together. So tweet some of that out when the kids are outside, kind of giving some shots of that, what's happening in the lunchroom, when we have a spirit day or anything along those lines. So use that. I use Facebook as well a lot. I get newsletters out. My newsletters are, you click to them and they're online because I think it's a nice format for parents to kind of read through and see what's going on. So communicating with the community, communicating with my parents is huge. And I know that's a big responsibility for me. Our teachers do it as well. They send home newsletters. They're getting out there. A few of my teachers are following me. They're like, so can we do a Twitter account if it's all school-based? I'm like, absolutely. And a few of the kids do too. They start to figure out that I'm tweeting out pictures of them and they like to copy those onto their Snapchat or copy them onto their own Twitter accounts. A few of them have Twitter accounts, so they start following me as well. But it's a great way to get information out about what's coming up and what's happening at the school, so that you kind of get a little sneak peek, because we know everything that's happening all the time. But I know I have a 5 and an 8-year-old, and what I even get from them is school is fine. We did math and some other stuff. Or, I don't remember. And I'll be like, it was an hour ago. I don't remember. So we try and fill in some of those blanks for our parents.
Which is great because, as you know, parents, once you hit the middle school, you don't find those things coming home in the knapsack all that.
No.
The notices don't seem to make it all that much.
Yeah.
And I also noticed that you put a lot of your tweets on the school website as well, so you can, if you're not on Twitter, you can see
Yes, Joe Kidd was fabulous. He put my Twitter account on the website so that you can, anytime I tweet, you can see what's happening on there. And then, so I will say this too, Twitter is kind of the new place that principals go and hang out, which means the kids will probably not hang out there very much longer. kind of, it's like, oh, so we're past now. So we also share a lot of educational information that way, and we follow each other, kind of see what other schools and other principals are doing, so get some really good ideas that we can bring back here. Because stealing is the greatest form of flattery, in my opinion, so we do a lot of that.
Super. All right, I'm going to kind of talk about, have you talk a little bit about, and we talked before as well, there's been a lot of transition here at the middle school. I think you referred to yourself as number 9. Some people might call you number 12.
Yes, yes.
But how are you dealing with that? And, how's that going with the staff and the students, where they're probably sitting there saying, oh, well, you're not going to be here next year?
Right. With the students, so the 6th grade, I'm what they know. So we're just, it is what it is. That's their reality, and we go with it. 7th grade and 8th grade, you get to know them and you build relationships. And, we tried, with every conversation that I have with a student, I'm like, so you don't know me and I don't know you, but here's how we get to know each other. And let me tell you a little bit about how I do things so that they have an understanding of that. I say all the time, it is the hardest part of my job and the easiest part, because the hardest part is that I just have to be here for a while, which is also the easy part. I just have to be here for a while for people to understand that I'm going to be here for a while. But that's going to take at least 5 years, and there's nothing I can really do about that besides just be here for a long time. So you just kind of put yourself out there, take some risks, and you do a lot of listening.
So I would say that, the biggest part of my entry plan coming in here was letting people know a little bit about me and then listening and learning. So how have you done that before? Or what do you like about that? What do you not like about that? What are some things that are really important about being in Norwood, about being in the Coakley Middle School? To the kids, what's really important? Like, what do you guys like? What have things been like? How are things different? Understanding that things are different. Things are different this year than they were last year. And recognizing that with the kids and being honest about it. Like, yeah, I know I'm different than Ms. Mann who came before, and she did all these things, and I'm kind of doing these things. And we'll work together on that. So the kids are actually, they're pretty quick. They're pretty adaptable. They seem to kind of be coming along. I was really surprised because I changed one thing in the morning where the 6th graders now wait in the cafeteria and just the 7th and 8th graders wait on the benches. And it used to just be the 8th graders got to sit and everybody else had to stand. And I was like, my 8th graders are not going to like that I'm doing this. But I didn't like having 750 kids in one space for 10 minutes all together. And I was like, that seems like a lot of kids in one space. And they just did it. And they just switched, and I haven't really heard anything about it, and they all seem to be okay with it. And there's been a lot of that where they're just like, okay, like, oh, all right, we're doing it this way now. And if they ask, I explain it to them. And I think for me, with kids, that's always the big thing. If you explain to them what you're doing, for the most part, they're pretty accepting about it. They'll be like, oh, okay, that's why she's doing that. If you just tell them and say it's because I'm the adult or I'm the principal and this is how we do things, they don't really buy into that too much. So.
And the staff, how are they warming up to changes?
I hope they are. No, they're definitely a part of every single change, and that's the key. Everything affects them directly. If we do schedule changes, so my schedule doesn't change, theirs does. Now, if we make changes on how we do professional development, it's not necessarily a change for me, it's a change for them. So we try and do a lot of things collaboratively. We talk about a lot of things. I listen to what they're saying. If I do have to make a change, it's sort of the same thing. I explain why. So I've kind of noticed this. Like one of the changes that we have coming up is water bottles. So I'm like, so I kind of noticed that the water bottles, having plastic water bottles in class seemed to be a distraction. How do you guys feel about that? They were like, yes, it's like this or that. I go, well, we want kids to have water in class. Can we make a policy that kids only use reusable water bottles in class? They can't flip them. They're really hard. It's really hard to flip a reusable water bottle. They don't crinkle. They don't make a lot of noise. We talked about it. They were all on board. So then we put it forward. So I'm a big believer in shared leadership. I'm a big believer in doing things collaboratively. So I think that works well together. And you listen and you kind of start to hear like what are some of the issues that they want to see either fixed or developed or grown or built. And we try and kind of hit some of those first before I start to say, well, these are the things that I kind of see that maybe we need to fix and develop and grow a little bit, but listening first and working with them.
Super. All right, so we're coming to the close here, but I would be remiss if I didn't ask you, we've just come out, basically a statement of interest to build a new middle school. Big smile on your face. Have you given that any thought to how you might get the story out and kind of raise public awareness of why a new middle school is needed?
Absolutely. I think the biggest message to get out there is that our town is changing, our kids are changing, everything is changing. This actually is not a middle school. It was never designed to be a middle school, and that's really clear if you walk in here. It's designed to be a junior high. And people might not really be aware of what the difference between those two things are. A junior high is like a mini high school, and it's done by departments. A middle school is about teaming, and it's about small schools, and it's about kids feeling comfortable. So I think it's really getting the message out about what needs to change and how we can't do it with this building. I currently have teachers that live in closets because we don't have enough classrooms for all of our teachers. And then secondly, what a new middle school can be to the entire community. My understanding and what I've seen so far is that this place is almost never closed. I've been here till 9 o'clock at night, and I'm not the only person here. There's something else happening. So a middle school is not just used from 7:25 in the morning till 2:05 in the afternoon. Sports uses it.
different community places can use it. And if we build it the right way, it can have even more uses. You know, if we build an auditorium, that can be used by more. If we build a library, that can be used by the community as well. And I saw that in Dedham, and I think you can look at some of the different communities where they've done that well, where a new school building is not just for schools, it is for the entire community and can be used that way. So I think we get out there and we message it and we bring people in here to sort of see what we're talking about, because my custodians do almost too good of a job. We have a beautiful school. It is so well maintained that if you just kind of walk in or you just hear a little bit here and there, you're not going to realize why it might not be meeting our needs anymore. But come take a walk around and let me show you where my teachers are at, how we have modulars sticking out the side, how I have teachers that have to travel, and how does that impact student learning. Some of these things, it might seem like, well, as long as you have a room and kids in it, you can teach. Yeah, you can. You can. But what more can we do if we have a space, and how schools have changed in the past. I want to say the school building is a couple years older than I am, so somewhere in its late 40s. How school and education has changed, and so the physical structure needs to change as well for that to happen. But.
Super. Well, we could go on and on, Dr. Fraczek, but unfortunately, I think we have to come back. So
Sure.
I'd love to come back later in the year, see what more is happening here, talk more about the building, because I think we'll probably be in the throes of
Absolutely.
negotiations with the MSBA at that point. But thank you so much for your time.
You're welcome. You're welcome back anytime. Happy to have you.
Super.
Great.
We'll be right back.
The Morrill Memorial Library offers a vast array of activities and services throughout the year for adults and children. The library also has plenty for kids to do in the summer and in the winter. There's PJ Story Time, which is evening story time at 7 p.m. in the children's department. Kids can also have a chance to win a prize if they find all the items in the I Spy tank located inside the children's department. The Morrill Memorial Library also has a full-service reference department, including databases, historical records, interlibrary loan, Commonwealth catalog, e-resources, tax help, digital archives, and municipal records. The library offers several book clubs throughout the year, including Titles on Tap, First Thursday, McGuire Housing Book Club, and many others. The library also offers several workshops for adults, including Stitch Therapy, Summer Reading for Adults, Get Creative with Greeting Cards, and Musical Movie Mondays. For more information regarding these programs, please contact the Morrill Memorial Library, located at 33 Walpole Street in Norwood, phone number 781-769-0200, or go online at www.norwoodlibrary.org.
Well, we're here on town meeting floor with none other than District 5 town meeting member Jody Smith. Jody, how long have you been on town meeting?
I've been on town meeting, I believe, about 6 years.
And what made you originally run, and why do you serve?
I serve because I'm interested in the town and the finances, and we are all in this together. So I feel as though to sit home and complain about different things, I should be here to be part of the solution, not part of the problem.
All right, and town meeting, you're here for the duration. Anything in particular that, and we know you're passionate about the schools, but besides the schools, what else are you passionate about that we're talking about?
This year I would have to say that I'm very passionate about the technology plan at the town hall, because I feel as though a lot of what we're using is outdated at this point, and I think we need to kind of put our money there so that we can upgrade our systems so that everything would work smoother and have more transparency for every department.
Okay, so one of the things that we try to do is we try to encourage people to run for town meeting, and you've been doing this for a number of years now. What would you say to anybody who might be on the fence about running?
Come out. This is your town. You should be part of solving our town's problems, and it truly is not that big of a commitment. People think it's more than what it is.
All righty, you heard it first. Jody Smith, District 5. All right, continuing as we talk to town meeting members, we ran into Debbie Homewood, District 3, and also Planning Board.
I am, yes. Yep, second term.
So, Debbie, why did you serve on town meeting?
I came to town meeting about 10 years ago to watch the process, and I believe that a democracy, we got to be involved. As much as we're all whining that we're going into week 3, I think you got to be part of the solution or you're part of the problem. And democracy is by the people, supposedly, so we want the town meeting thing. You got to get in the game, I think.
So what's your favorite part about town meeting besides adjourning?
It's very interesting to see the stuff that goes on. I mean, you know, some of it it's like, what? But it's, you know, it gives you a chance to have a voice, and it's kind of interesting. I'm not sure about week 3, but it's kind of interesting. So I encourage people to step up and come on down and get on their, you know, go to their district thing and get on town meeting. I can't be the only one mouthing off here.
All right, last question, because we got to talk about planning board as well. Why did you get involved there, and how is it to be on planning board and town meeting?
I don't think there's a lot of difference being on both. I got on the planning board because again, part of the solution. I saw some stuff on my own street some years ago, was on the zoning board as an associate member for quite a few years, and planning board came up, and so I decided to run.
Super. All righty, Debbie, thanks again, and we'll look for you on town meeting floor.
Thank you very much.